Good evening, everyone that's coming in on the call. We'd like to welcome you all to the call hosted by Dennis Whipple, and myself. He will be recording the Zoom tonight, so just kind of bear with us. We're going to give time for other people to come on the Zoom to participate. Well, while you're doing that, I want everyone to know that we're not a tax advisor.
That's a good thing. Yeah, do that up front.
Yeah, not giving any legal information out. We're just giving you information that will help you along the way. Dennis is not an attorney, neither am I, neither his guest. We're just giving out good information that will help you in the long run with your accounts getting set up. That's about it.
Okay. All right. So here's what I'd like to do. I want to start out with a new gentleman who is an attorney in Los Angeles area. He's reviewed everything. I've talked with him for a couple of hours a few days ago, and he has reviewed everything I gave him, and he's willing to give us a little synopsis of what his thoughts are on associations and the bank. Okay, so with that, I'd like to introduce Larry Daniels, and he's going to give you a little background on his being an attorney. Larry, are you available? Can you unmute and give us?
Absolutely. Hi, how are you all? Good evening. So you can hear me fine?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Great. Considering that it's been recorded, yes, I'm an attorney, but I'm not anyone's attorney here tonight. And I'm not Dennis's attorney or the bank's attorney. I'm on here for my own edification, my own interests, my own investment. And yes, I've reviewed some of the paperwork and spoken with Dennis, and I have my own point of view and interest in this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be taking the time to be here. But I wanted to introduce myself and tell you that I'm very excited about this opportunity. My background, I've been an attorney for well over 30 years, first in New York, then in California. My offices are in Los Angeles and up in the Silicon Valley in Menlo Park, down the street from where Facebook is. I practice in the areas of entertainment and technology. Those are my specialties. But over many years, I've dealt with a lot of business deals and business transactions, as you might think. And prior to when I was an attorney, I worked in the U.S. Senate as an aide to Edward Kennedy and on the Judiciary Committee as an aide. And went to Georgetown Law School and Oxford and Berkeley, and that's basically that part of my background. I'm not a tax expert. I am not a tax attorney, and I did take tax law from Ruth Bader Ginsburg's husband at Georgetown, and am a member of the Supreme Court to argue in front of it. But other than that, that's kind of my background. I have a family with 3 teenagers that are a little older now, and a wife who's an artist. And it's very nice to be here. And I'll get it back to you now, Dennis.
Well, what I'm going to do is go through the documentation on doing an association. And then I will go through that entire thing, and you can give us your take on what you feel this association is how it's going to help people. Okay? So I'll call back on you when we're done with that presentation. So I'm going to share screen and do that. Okay, everybody can see that? Cynthia?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so and the first document I give you is about the 575E. Does it grant a tax exemption? Yes, it does, but it's not under the 508c1A. Neither is it. It's not a charitable religious trust or a corporation sole. Those are public entities. If you go down and read further on down here, you will find that the CP 575E, which gives an automatic exemption to the nonprofit association, which is unincorporated. It's not incorporated, so it's not public. And as such, it gives you that 575E tax ID number. Okay, that's for banking purposes.
Dennis, we're seeing a page, but we're not seeing what you're reading to us.
Oh, you're not seeing it? Okay. Let me stop the share and come back to it. Okay.
We were seeing the highlighted part about the adoption of the commerce.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. Share screen.
Wasn't the full document.
Pardon? Yeah.
It wasn't the full document.
Okay. Share screen. Okay, there it is. And share. Now, can you see that full document?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, now we can.
Okay. I was seeing it, but you weren't. Okay. So anyway, the CP 575E is not a charitable religious trust, nor is a corporation sole. Those are under the 508c1A, and they will be required, they won't ever be required to file taxes. Okay. Now, the 575E is embedded in that 508c1A statute. And this one is given, the 575E is given to the unincorporated nonprofit associations, and it's an automatic exemption. Okay. So let me show you why. Okay. When you go to the 575B, it says you must file a form 1065. But when you come to, this is another one of those where it says, you must file a 1041. Okay. Here, this one is another one that says you must file different forms. Okay. But when you come to the 575E, this one, it says you may file. Okay. Let me show you on the next one here. 575E, here's the tax ID, and it says you may be required to file. That is an invitation for you to contract with them, and you don't need to do that. Nobody has ever done that for the last many associations that have done for people. They have not gone out and done this, filed a 990E. Neither have I. All right. So I record my documents in the state of California. Why? The corporations code is very strong in the state of California. If you look at section 18605, it says a member, director, or agent of a nonprofit association is not liable for a debt, obligation, or liability of the association solely by reason of being a member, director, officer, or agent. Now, further down, it says, unless the member expressly assumes personal responsibility for the obligation in a signed writing that specifically identifies the obligation assumed. I don't recommend anybody ever do that. Okay. Now, this likewise in section 18105, an unincorporated association may, in its name, acquire, hold, manage, encumber, or transfer an interest in real or personal property. The property acquired by or for an unincorporated association is property of the unincorporated association and not of the members individually. Same as when it comes to the debt. Again, if you read down further here, it says, unless you specifically agree to a specific asset in writing. Okay? So don't ever do that. Now, when I send a document to the state of California for registration, all I'm doing is, as the president, I'm stating that respect to for completing and submitting this application, that the information contained in this application is true and correct. When I do that, the state gets it, they stamp on it the date and time they get it, okay? And then they handwrite a number up on the top, 17469. Okay, they send me a copy of this, a certified copy of this, and that's on the back of that copy page, is certified to be an original. And at the same time they send me that, they send me this, a certificate of registration of the unincorporated association with that registration number on it. Now, here's the beauty of this whole thing. This information is retained on a 3x5 card in a file cabinet in the basement of the Secretary of State's office. You will not be able to go to the Secretary of State's office and put in the name and whatever you want to find, this ID number. You will never find it on the Secretary of State's office. They do have it on a computer in their back office and the Secretary of State in case somebody asks who did this association. All they can tell you is that Dennis Gray was the president who filed the documents, and after that, we have no idea what happened, because everything after that point is private. Once I have done that, okay, let me get over here. I get the tax ID number specifically for banking purposes, and it's a 575E, and you can read everything that it says here, exactly what we said. You may file the 990 documents, okay? Now, as you can see here, the address is my office address in California. And when I move it over to you, I will change the address, and I will show you how that is done. Okay, I do the banking resolution, and I, as the president, appoint you to be the secretary, and the secretary becomes the primary executive officer. And these 4 blanks, you write in the name of the bank, you sign your name, and the rest of the documents here refer to the bylaws of the association, articles of association, okay? And this at the bottom has the current address for it. Now, after I have done all of that, I resign, but before I resign, I appoint you to be the secretary right here in section 1. Section 2, it says that you have 100% control on behalf of the above named organization in all matters dealing with the purchase, sale of any and all assets and all banking matters, real estate, automobiles, investments, etc. Then Dennis Gray resigns as president, Maria Metcalf resigns as the recording secretary, and the current address for the association is this new document. Okay, so basically, this is the end of my presentation on the documents that I do for you. Now I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about what the benefit of the association has been to me. Okay, number 1, my social security number is not attached to that. When I go open the bank account, I do have to give them 2 forms of ID and my social security number. They will, at this point, verify that I'm not a bad check writer, that I'm not on a no-fly list, that I'm not a drug dealer, all of that. And they will say, okay, you can open the account. There's a brick wall between me and the account. Remember, the unincorporated association has no shares. It has no officers. It has no trustees. It has no beneficiaries. It has its own tax ID number, and it owns itself. So you have been appointed as the secretary. In the bylaws, the rules, it states that the secretary is the primary executive officer in 100% control, that I gave you that responsibility, and you're now 100% in control of the association. Now, when it comes to the association, you're 100% protected. I have cases where people have been to court and the judge has not been able to get the property. I need to get those cases, and I need to send those over to Lawrence Williams or Larry Daniels to check it out, okay? So he'll be able to tell us a little bit better on that, okay? Because he will have case law that states that. On the other hand, we had the gentleman who had a $150 million lawsuit against him. He had two different businesses, and he had a lot of little toys in each business. And what I'm talking about is desert toys and water toys. He had a desert four wheels and dune buggies and jet skis and yachts. Well, in 2018, a young couple rented two four-wheelers. They went out and got into an accident. The girl got into an accident. She was 1 month pregnant. She lost the baby and ended up being a paraplegic in the wheelchair. Well, they sued Honda, his association, him, his wife, and all his employees for $150 million. His attorney sat down and read all the law, just like I just showed you. And I asked the attorney, I said, has he agreed to any of the debts? In writing, no. Has he agreed to own any of the property? In writing. So who owns the property and the debt? It's the association. So he's simply the person who wrote the agreement for the people to rent the equipment. And they also signed waivers and stating that they were fully aware of the risks of taking this equipment out. Now, if I went to Alamo Rent-A-Car and rented a Chevrolet and got into an accident, who would I be suing? I'd be suing Alamo Rent-A-Car and Chevrolet, not the person who wrote up the contract for me. So he said, yeah, you're absolutely right. So he went out and he he asked the gentleman, how much value did his association have that was named in the lawsuit? He said between $70,000 and $80,000. So remember, any association, in the United States, like they say, you can sue a ham sandwich. You got to prove what the problem is. He had insurance on that and the association. All they could get was the association and some of the insurance that was in there. His wife and his employees were extricated. They were pulled out of the lawsuit, and they settled the lawsuit for a default on the association with the insurance, whatever they got out of the insurance. That's what happened. And so his businesses, all the other businesses that he had about 13 associations left with a little bit of equipment in each one, and he's still doing business. Okay. So the other gentleman in Oregon and Washington, he had bought a property with a partner, put it in there, but he owed several $1,000s to the IRS. And since 2007, they'd been trying to collect from him. They took him to court, and the judge told him, if you ever sell the property that's in that association and you get the cash, I want to know. Well, he'll never get the cash. Okay. So he said, okay, because if they sold the property, it will remain in the association. He won't get anything. He won't take it out. The association can then do what it wants to with that money. Okay. Likewise, the association gives you a lot of protection for your assets. Okay. Now, right now, if you was to die as an individual right now with no association or a trust, if you have a trust, you're going to go through some probate, but then you got the transfer of the title of the property to the new owners who are going to be your family members. But what happens if you have an association? The title never changes. The title will remain in the name of the association. You will simply assume the position as the secretary and assume the responsibility of running that association. So you have a will, and the will states, upon my demise, my next of kin, A, B, or C, will assume the responsibility of being the secretary, and they take over the bank accounts or the house or whatever it is that you are currently secretary of. Okay, so that's the beauty of moving it over. Now, when it comes to trusts, most people open up a trust and they become the trustee of that account. I've had 3 different people where the government went in and attacked the trust because the trustee owed money to the government, and their social security number was tied to the trust, and they took the money out of the trust. I'll tell you a couple of days ago what happened to a friend of mine who's a doctor. Okay. She had an accident. She has an association, but she didn't have the car in the association. She didn't have other affairs in an association. She just bought the association. Guess what? When the insurance company paid a $3,000+ bill to the mechanic, to the body shop that fixed the car, the IRS took the money away from the mechanic because her husband's tow truck company owed money to the IRS. And since their social security numbers were attached to that insurance policy, they took the money away from the body shop company, and now they still owe the money to the body shop. That's how deep they will go to take the money away from you. Okay. Now, at this point, I'd like to ask Larry. Larry, can you give us some your take on this association and what I just said?
Briefly, everything you're talking about sounds copacetic. It sounds rooted in the law related to corporations, associations, nonprofits. It sounds like you've come across an area, a blind side in the law as it stands, particularly in California. I'm not giving my legal opinion related to it here, but I'll tell you, I find it very interesting because there are very few, if any, ways for people to shield themselves or protect themselves in the United States, particularly. And this is something that I was very intrigued with when Dennis started talking about it. I think that more needs to be discussed about the aspect of an unincorporated nonprofit association and how or why you feel that the 990 document that's usually sent to the Secretary of State related to the business or whatever of the nonprofit, what it's doing. Because if you have a nonprofit, you send those every 3 years or every 5 years, depending upon what the case is. And so I'm interested in how you deal with that, because you really want this to not have any holes. And I think Dennis has really thought through a lot of that. And I'm not willing to, give my legal opinion. Just know that I'm here and I'm listening and I'm fascinated by it. I've been involved with associations, corporations, nonprofits, 501c3s. So this is a different animal. It really is an animal that is not talked about really. So I'm fascinated and want to hear more. I want to read any of the stare decisis caseload on it. And I do agree that that if you are not controlling the property yourself, and you personally are not, and therefore your social security number is not attached to it, that that they need to look to elsewhere, and elsewhere is not where you are. So that's about it at this moment, early on in the conversation. But I am fascinated about it because many people talk about, as an example, cryptocurrency. They talk about banking, all kinds of things. And what I don't think a lot of them do is think about things that Dennis thought about before getting into those. And then they're in them and it's a little too far along. That's why I'm fascinated with it. So, Dennis, back to you for the moment.
Right. A gentleman asked, yes, the 990 needs to be filed with the IRS, not with the state of California. And here's the thing. The 990 is simply an information return. Okay. My friend who's a tax man told me, let's just say you made $100,000. You spent $80,000 and you spend 80,000, there's 20,000 remaining. That's not profit. It's considered reserves in an unincorporated nonprofit association. That's what he told me. And it's for you to use the following year. So it's something that you can do if you're making, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. But my recommendation to these people, Larry, is this. I tell them, okay, operate this just like a regular nonprofit operation would do. And you know about nonprofits. Now, what do? They get donations, they sell it, they pay for their overhead, their labor, etc. And the person running it gets a huge salary plus benefits. And they get benefits and what do you call it? Fees, expenses, benefits and expenses. So why don't you operate your nonprofit association like that? Bring in money, okay? Donate to 10, 15%, maybe even 20% to charities, to, do your own charity, etc. And pay yourself a salary as the person running it, the secretary, and then do your taxes on your personal income. Does that make sense, Larry? Just an opinion, not.
Yeah, I mean, we're going back and forth on this. Once again, I'm not giving
not a
my
legal opinion. Just what I'm saying.
The gentleman who had asked before, yes, it's as far as I know, also a 990 does not go to the Secretary of State, goes to the IRS. But when you originally are filing a nonprofit, it goes to the paperwork goes to the Secretary of State, and every X number of years, they usually have the opportunity to come look at and make sure that your foundation or your nonprofit is a nonprofit. And this isn't that. This is not that. It's working differently, and it's working differently because it's an unincorporated association. It's not a nonprofit corporation.
Which is on the public side, correct?
Right. This is completely on the private side. And that's probably the most important, significant thing about it. It's a private, unincorporated nonprofit association. So back to you.
Yeah, thank you. So this is what I'm trying to tell people. Okay, there's an inherent problem in having a trust, because your social security number or whoever the trustee's social security number is attached to it. And I've had 3 different trustees have the assets in the trust attacked because they went after the people, the trustee. Okay, so here I haven't had anyone ever had a problem with it. Okay, so this is why I like the unincorporated nonprofit association. And here's the key. Maria and I, we own nothing, but we control everything. And this is the way we've been living for the last 32 years, right? So.
Thank you.
Okay, so now let me stop right here, take a few questions, then we'll get on to the banking side of this. And I think David is on with us. David, are you here? Larry, again, I'm thanking you for everything that you have told us today. because I'm not, we know you're not giving us a legal opinion, but just a cursory, yeah, you know, everything is there, and that you say that I'm saying is correct.
By the way, Kevin wrote something in your chat, and then Carl ended up asking something that you might want to reply to, and that's it looks like it's, does the association operate as a nonprofit? And then it was yes, but it's not tax exempt. So you guys may want to talk just a bit more about that. And remember, what's in an association, just like what's in a corporation, doesn't mean that it's taxed. It's when an event occurs, like, for example, when it's paid out to you as an individual. That's a taxable event. But I think, Dennis, you might want to clarify what you were saying before. Okay?
Yeah. And that's exactly what I said. You know, pay yourself a salary for being the secretary of this. You're the manager of it. And since you are paying yourself a salary, pay the tax on that. Then you keep your nonprofit going just like any other nonprofit. I don't know if you guys know this, but Goodwill makes about $3 million a year, but the gentleman who runs it gets all his items that he sells for free, pays everybody everything, and does not donate 1 penny to any kind of charity. All the money goes to him. Whereas on the Red Cross, the person running the Red Cross gets $357,000 a year salary plus expenses and benefits. Okay? Now, they pay all their employees and all their bills, and the profit remains as reserves. The same thing can be done with your nonprofit association. Okay? And I've been operating this way. I've run $1 million through in as little as 11 weeks in my associations. Okay? So here's the thing. I control them. I don't own them. We just bought the house in Las Vegas last month. A couple of months ago, we put it into an association. We don't have it anymore in our name, and nobody can touch it. Anybody coming after me can go after the $40 I have in my bank account and $3 that Maria has in her bank account. That's the only two things under our Social Security number. Nothing else. Okay? So let me stop sharing right now and ask for any hand raising, and we can, anybody wants to ask any questions.
Dennis Whipple here. I didn't raise my hand, but could you again clarify, and while Larry's here, some parties are treating that story that you have where the toys, were given up, and as the association is not as good as a trust, because it's like, see there, they pierce the corporate veil kind of thing. Could you explain why that was just a freak accident, and that's not the case here? They can't see through to all this, right?
Correct. The thing is, this is not a corporate veil. They didn't pierce the corporate veil and go after the owner of the association. They went after the association, and that's all they could get. The insurance and the association. They could not pierce the corporate veil and go after the gentleman who owned it.
Thank you. Because that doesn't prove that the trust is a better vehicle.
No.
The trust has its own purpose, but this isn't where it applies.
No, they didn't pierce the corporate veil. You can, like I said, you can sue a hand sandwich, so you can sue the association, you can sue the trust. Okay. Somebody asked a question. I just bought a house 3 years ago. Can I put it into an association? Absolutely. And when you do that, you're doing it for financial planning purposes, and the GARN, that's GARN, Saint Germain law, prevents a due on sale clause because you're doing it for your own benefit. Okay? So you are the owner of the house right now. You control the association, and you're putting the property into that association, and it's not a taxable event in California. in Las Vegas, I had to pay the tax because they claim over here that since it doesn't have an owner, that I have to pay the transfer tax, which I paid happily. Why? I got protection now. It's the best protection I could buy. And remember this, folks, you cannot buy insurance after the accident. Don't wait till it's too late to protect your assets. Okay? I had one lady who kept calling me for a whole year about putting her father's assets into an association. She didn't do it. Then she calls me up and she goes, my father is in ICU and he just signed over $70,000 worth of assets to the state. I said, it's too late now. You can't buy insurance after the accident. Somebody has an open mic. Can you please? Okay, so as far as the association goes, I think we have covered everything we can on the association for right now. Right now, I'd like to invite David, who's the CEO of the KOGI Bank. And David, can you jump on here and give us your take on what this KOGI Bank is going to do for everybody? And a lot of the tax issues that people have right now will be answered with the KOGI Bank. Okay. So let me start off and tell you a little bit about the KOGI Bank. Okay. So here's the thing about the KOGI Bank. Okay. KOGI stands for KOGI, stands for Kingdom of God Industries. KOGI Bank is an offshoot of the mother program. It's the Quantum Financial System. The mother program that runs it is called Cannibal, Kanebel, Cannibal. It's a contraction of Cain and Abel. They have 12 artificial intelligent bots that help them to keep everything going in sync. Here's what happens. The bank is not a normal bank that you would talk the bricks and mortar banks like Bank of America and Chase, etc. They are a worldwide bank that operates in trusts in all the countries worldwide. The architect of this lives in New Jersey. A lot of his family worked for the Department of Defense, and his aunt was one of the key people over at the DOD. And in 2009, he found out about the quantum financial system and started programming this bank. And he wrote a white paper that during President Trump's time, Jared Kushner approved it. That white paper is now available for you to read at quantum.gov. That's QUANTUM.gov. You will see all the government agencies that are affiliated with the program. Quantum.gov will give you an idea of what it's all about. Now, we have a skin of a program, and that's called eBank. That's spelled E, the letter E, then B like boy, ANQ.com. You can go there and you can then go to demo and click on demo and put your name, and they will send you a username and password so you can peruse that site and look at what you can do with that bank. What KOGI Bank is just like all the other banks that you have worked with, or financial money transfer systems that you have worked with. PayPal, XOOM, Zoom, then there's Venmo, Cash, all of them. You would simply sign up. There, Cheryl has put the address, quantum.gov, in the chat, okay? Now, all of those, you would simply sign up and then attach your bank or debit card to that account. When you do that, the moment you do that with your current banks, those banks immediately start having a double FDIC insurance. Okay, yeah, just like all of them, everyone and Cash App. Okay, so all of those apps, such as Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, are now all owned by Chase Bank, JP Morgan Chase Bank. Okay, that's who owns all of them right now. We are the only quantum system licensed to do banking worldwide, not in that realm of those banks, because we take everything and put it into our trusts. We have Euro Capital Trust, we have Capital Trust in Netherlands, Switzerland. We just opened one in St. Thomas. We have trusts in Wyoming, in the United States. We have trusts in Canada, in Asia, and we'll be opening trusts around the world as we get bigger and bigger. Now, here's what happens. You can put your cash in your bank, and your bank becomes your wallet. The bank cannot dictate what you can and cannot do with your money anymore. Your funds that go in there go into what we call a smart contract. A smart contract is a blockchain contract that's designated for investment purposes, and as such goes in non-taxable. So all your income can go in there non-taxable. Now, you can not only put your income, you can also put your house, your boat, your car, and whatever else is valuable, your gold watch, whatever else is valuable to you can be put into the trust with a deed of trust. Okay? Now, we can actually bank all the unbankables, all the cannabis people, all the people who deal in firearms. They have a very hard time opening bank accounts because they are considered high risks. We can open a bank account for them. We can open bank accounts with the associations. We don't have to worry about it. Let me give you another great example of what happened just now. Everybody knows about the Canadian truckers, okay? They did a GoFundMe and raised $9 million for the truckers, and GoFundMe refused to give it to the truckers, period, and told the people they would have to request their money back. They had such a backlash that they decided to voluntarily refund all the money to all the people. So everybody then turned around to a religious fund me program. I think it's Give, Send, Go, and that's a religious thing. And they raised over $8 million for the truckers in a matter of less than a week. Guess what? The government of Canada and the Supreme Court over there said they couldn't release the funds to the truckers. Well, Give, Send, Go just said, forget it. We are giving it. You can't stop us. Now, if they had been with KOGI, nobody could touch them because nobody knows what goes into your bank account because it goes into one of these trusts. And the trust is blockchain, satellite encrypted, and nobody can see what's going on with your assets. You basically become a sovereign citizen. The only thing you have is a social security number, your driver's license, and whatever else you're doing in the public. Now, everything else that you have goes into the trusts that we have and becomes private for you. Okay? Now, if you're an individual and you use your assets that are in there, we have these 12 bots. These 12 bots are consistently scouring the entire globe, looking for a disturbance in the force, so to speak. Okay? So let's just say all your assets are in US dollars. They will be looking at all the algorithms all the time and saying, whoa, the US dollar is about to crash. Before it crashes, in the blink of an eye, the bots are going to take all the available assets that you have, max out your credit cards, max out your equity on everything, and move it to the next safest haven. Whatever that may be in the blockchain, it may be gold, silver, whatever it is, it's out of the dollar, US dollar, before it crashes. So we're looking out for you and not for ourselves right up front, okay? That's one of the things. Now, the other thing is you can take your assets that are in the bank and you can take the liquidity out of that and you can have our bots do the trading for you. And they trade in the Forex market and in the crypto market. And they currently have been doing between 0.07 and 7% a day, okay? So they can make let's just say they even did 0.5% every day, you're going to make some big money with the bots. If you take it out as an individual, the maximum tax you'll pay, because it'll be coming out of the St. Thomas Trust, you'll only pay 4%. Okay, that's it. So instead of when it going in, you don't have to pay the 39 to 41%, you'll pay 4% when you take it out. That's the beauty of running it through the bank. The bank now will be, you will be doing all your banking on your cell phone. You can use your cell phone and take a picture of a credit card, put the amount, and it goes right into your bank. Okay? Now, if you want to send money to people, I can send dollars from here to my family in Sri Lanka and to be delivered in rupees. And in the blink of an eye, it's sent from my cell phone to their cell phone, and they got it in rupees and I sent it in dollars, and it's all converted on the fly. I don't have to go to an exchange market, exchange it, and then send it. It's all done on the fly. When they receive it, they will have it on their cell phone. They have a QR code. They can go to any bank or any ATM machine, use the QR code and get out cash. And that's how the thing is done. Okay. So we are in the process. We have to be in business for 6 months and have a certain clientele volume of people in the business before we can start taking your IRAs and your 401ks into the system and then protecting those as well for you. All of those assets are going to go into smart contracts in deeds of trust in your name. So all your banking now, we become the custodian of all your banking for your benefit. We don't control it, you control it. Okay? We simply grab it and keep it from any prying eyes and anybody trying to take it away from you. This is the quantum financial system that KOGI Bank is bringing. We have a lot more stuff that's going to be unveiled as we go along. I have a gentleman on here who's coming in next week to talk to us about a program that will give everybody in here a home, insurance, and money to burn. Okay, so we're going to talk to you about that after we talk to this gentleman and he comes over to us. Okay, so everything's going to be protected.
David is trying to come in.
David, are you available? He's trying to get in. Okay. Well, tell him as soon as he's on to give me a call. From Mike to Detroit. Is there a single point of failure, a central point? No. This is good. I mean, it's got a fail-safe program here. There's no way that anything's going to fail because the program, okay, there are 5 of the fastest computers in the world. 2 are not operational. 3 are operational. We have 1 of them. Okay. One of those computers is so fast, we had trouble getting on the net because it was crashing. It wasn't crashing them, but the Amazon servers and the Google servers were being slowed down. So other people trying to get in and do whatever they were trying to do were having a lot of buffering issues because our program was going ahead of everybody else. Okay? So we had to do a lot of, oh, there he is. There's David. Here is the CEO of KOGI Bank. And David, I have given them a pretty good rundown. You can run over everything again. And Larry Daniels, the attorney, is listening to us, and he is very interested in our bank as well as the association.
Okay, well, I'm good at running down things. So I got a truck. I can go over those quickly. So I appreciate you guys' time. Sorry I'm late. I was at a chiropractic show here for some other products we do. But I'm sure Dennis went over a lot of the stuff we do. Actually, kind of what we're trying to create here is, again, a sovereign world where we can take back our power. And that's really what it all comes back down to. Dennis does it through associations. He saw a big link between this and his associations because we're both on the same page when it comes down to that. KOGI, which is Kingdom of God of Industries, was named that for the idea that it was inspired by, for me and other people, by God. And that's, I have to say that because I give all that glory to him. Our system is set up to give back the average person back power to their life, where they can do what the white collar people do. It gives the blue collar guy a chance to be a white collar trader and be able to take back and utilize their assets to their advantage instead of allowing other people to do it for them and taking that money themselves.
David, can you tell them a little bit about Mitch and how this whole thing started?
Well, this whole thing started back in 2012, and a man named Mitch Perini came up with a white paper of how to actually, sorry, I went into a room where they're having a conference. Wrote a white paper on the quantum financial system that was approved by Jared Kushner in 2016, of how the world should work on a financial banking system. And from that came a lot of the stuff. I can't really talk about most of it, but Mitch is a software genius. He's very intelligent. His family was the owners of Champion Spark Plug, if anybody's heard about Champion Spark Plug before. And they retained Champion Aerospace. Sorry, I'm not in a great area to talk, so I'm trying to move around, only doing so well. So they retained Champion Aerospace, which was one of the main suppliers to the DoD. The Department of Defense and the Treasury got together and created that white paper into reality and handed over one of the fastest server systems in the world, that there's only 3 even available. One is at the DoD, another one's at a large banking system in Europe, and the other third one is with us at KOGI and Cannibal. So Mitch was handed this over by, like I said, the DoD, which in turn his aunt was one of the heads of the DoD. So from there, we've created an application that can be done for just about anybody that can put you in the realm of the banking realm, where we can do things that normal people have never been able to do, which means you can utilize becoming a bank just like the bank does and use all the tactics and all the things they do. We're also a trust that takes your assets and puts them away so that they're secure and nobody can get to them. And the one way we do that is by putting them into a trust. And that trust is not only a secure place, but it's also monitored by bots, which means we have 12 bots that are named after the 12 apostles. Now, one of the things people ask is, how is that secure? If the government was ever to come and try to take what I have, how do you get away with not being able to get it? Well, we use their own rules against them, which means we use what they use against us against them. So let's say somebody was coming in and said, so-and-so owed the IRS this much money, or somebody owed this person this much money, and they wanted to come in the account, see what was there, and see if they could take it. Well, our bots know exactly what to say, and they say, okay, well, I want to see form this, form that, form the other thing, and then I want to see this, and then if you don't have this, you better produce this, and until you do all that, you can't see nothing. So until you do it legitimately and put it in place the way it's supposed to be put, which we would never know how to do, because for the average Joe Schmo, we're not lawyers. We're not people that do this kind of stuff. But we become your guardian and your protector of the system and everything you own. And we fight for your protection and fight for your assets. So by doing this, again, it's a very lengthy process for the government to get in and do this kind of stuff. But they do it because they believe they have a power to do so if you don't know how to protect yourself. That's the only reason they do it, is because they believe you don't understand how to protect yourself. Well, we do that for you. We're a high-end security company.
Just like what happened to the doctor when they took the mechanic's check and paid the IRS with it.
Just craziness. I mean, when they did that to Dr. Wong, it's crazy because these guys actually took the check she got for insurance to fix her car. I can't believe it. Well, I can believe it because I've seen it. I've seen what these people
I know it
do.
happened.
I remember when I had one of my third businesses, and I had a dispute with L&I, and they came in and they kept telling me something. And this is really what started my journey into finding something like this and finding these the thing we have now, which is KOGI. Was I had the government take $60,000 out of my account. I didn't even know. I just looked in my account one day and it was gone. And I was like, whoa, what happened? They said, well, the state stepped in and took your money. And I said, well, why'd they do that? And you go, well, you don't know. You're going to have to ask them. So I call them up and they told me why. And I said, no. We've gone through this argument. I've sat down with you guys. I've actually gone over all this stuff. And we came to an agreement that I don't have what you said. Well, we believe you do. And I said, so really how it works in our country is you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent with our government. Believe me. So it took me over a year and a bunch of lawyer fees to figure out that they owed me that money. But I think what was most disturbing was when they took it all, I said, look, I don't have any gas. I don't have any food. I got 3 kids. What do you expect me to do? Well, that's not our problem, they said. I was like, holy crap, you cleaned out my bank account. And then you told me it wasn't my problem. It wasn't your problem. I was like, wow. So it put me on a mission to find something that I could not only never let this happen to myself again, but never let it happen to anybody I know, because it's the worst feeling in the world to be helpless and put in a position where the stuff you work so hard for could be taken away so quickly. But that is the country we formed and become. Not to say that was the country we started, because it wasn't the country we started. So we are the digital warriors. We are the people that are making the move to make a different world for everybody to be in, where they can take back their own power. So, any questions?
Maria, you got questions? Yeah, okay. Let me ask people to raise their hand if they have questions, okay? There's Simon's iPhone. Simon, you want to ask David a question? Unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, David. Hi, Dennis.
Yeah, hi there.
I mean, heads down on a whole bunch of people that they've been organizing and putting the whole thing together. You guys mentioned that there's a contract with different phone companies and how much it's going to be the cost and all that kind of new technology that will be available for us. As far as hypothetically, if somebody lose the phone, steal the phone, computer breach, whatever the case is, if, for example, losing of communication or reception, how is that secure in order to transfer it to a new device or anything like that? Can you use the tablet in case of something like this happen? How would that be arranged if it's already in process?
Well, there's a chip in the phone, and that chip is the monitor of it, which can be tracked or traced anywhere. And just like regular cellular services, but our system works off of a satellite, which is the Starlink. And satellite can be used anywhere, which means the internet and the Wi-Fi can be used if you're in the middle of the Sahara Desert. So it doesn't matter where you are, it's linked up 100%. It's also encrypted, which means since it's through a private network like that, they really can't get into it. They have to literally get into a blockchain phone system, which is, I wouldn't say it's not possible, but it's very, very, very difficult. So the phones have a tracking mechanism on them that if they were stolen, I mean, sure, they could break it and do all that stuff, but any of the services or cell phones they could do that with. Now, the other thing we're creating at this point as well is a gold coin, which will have a cold storage in it of over $100 million that you can put into a coin, which is a gold coin, which has, like, again, a chip, which is cold storage, which would be your money that you take anywhere, and you can use that anywhere you go.
So just like that, even the phone, if you lost it, you have the ability to turn it off instantly. Okay, nobody can be able to get anything in there. They won't be able to get in. They won't be able to touch anything.
Plus, that phone is also got it's got identification things on it that only you are and you have. So there's nothing that they can get by. I mean, even from an eye scan to a fingerprint scan, all that stuff is hard to get by if you don't have the right stuff.
Correct. Okay, Simon, is that a good answer for you?
That is very satisfying answer for now. Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, Daisy has a hand raised. Daisy?
Hi, this is not Daisy. This is Arnolia. I'm logged into somebody
You're on
else's.
Daisy's phone, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I'm in her account. I'm using her account for another thing that I'm doing.
Okay.
How are you?
Doing great. Doing great.
Good. All right. I want to thank the attorney for his non-advice, and also David for sharing the information, and you as well. But my question is to David, and I want to know how, if you could just go back and explain how to transfer, like how to connect our card to the bank account, to the KOGI bank account. You know, and is that something that we can start using right now, right away?
Did you say card?
Well,
yeah, you said that we can connect the bank accounts that we're using right now to the KOGI system or the KOGI trust.
Yeah, to the KOGI system. When the application gets put up this next week, we have to sign some paperwork. I got to go back down to St. Thomas this week. So when the application goes live, which is going to be this next week, you can do it now. You can register for KOGI, and when the application goes live, it'll send you a notification telling you that. And what it does is we link directly. You don't have to change bank accounts. If you want to, you can use KOGI as your bank service, but it will link to your bank account, and it'll be the custodian at that point. Now, what that does is it stops the bank from doing any kind of trading on your assets and your income and your money that's placed in the bank. So, and by doing that, you're not letting the bank fractionally trade on your money all day long because somebody else is watching over your funds and saying, look, you can't do that anymore. We are now the custodians of this account and we decide for the customer how that works, and you trading our funds is not part of it.
For instance, a few weeks back, I tried to send wire transfer 65,000. My bank told me, no, you can only send 50,000. That would never happen with KOGI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're out using your money. That's why they told you no.
Correct.
That's kind of where it comes to.
Okay, so also with KOGI, will we be able to connect multiple accounts? Let's say if you had an account at Chase and account at Bank of America, would you be able to connect that to one account in KOGI, or would you have to have multiple accounts?
Now, most of you have already are familiar with systems like Venmo and Cash and PayPal. And you can hook 10 different banks to each one of them. The same thing applies here.
Okay. Can I connect my crypto accounts to it as well?
Yes.
Because we deal in any kind of currency.
Yeah, we deal in all the cryptos. We are a crypto setter, which means we create coins for industries. We push them. We create value. We do all of that. We're an NFT company. We're also a virtual real estate company. We're a trust, We're an insurance company. We've got multiple licenses and different things so that we can assist
And what
Go ahead.
about tangible gold and silver? What about those type of items?
Tangible gold and silver we can take in and we can put into the trust. We are a settlement company, which means we would go out and settle on the debt and digitalize it. Or I'm not debt, but settle on the asset and digitalize it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
Daisy.
all.
All right, Ambika, you got another question?
My first one today. Firstly, this is really exciting because for me, the vision of humanity coming together with this joy and grace and wellness and abundance is just so perfect. So first question. I got the association done, so that will be connected soon.
So
as
you opened an account with Bank of America with Sonny Lee yesterday, right?
Yes, it's done. I'm so excited.
How did it go smoothly?
It was beautiful. So we'll follow up, you and I, in a couple.
Right.
What has come up recently, and when I talk to people about this, is but satellites go out, and we had last few days 40 satellites.
40 of the satellites got into a geostorm, correct? But that'll be repaired.
Yes. So people are saying, the solar flares are coming and it's all going to disappear. What do you do then? So, I wondered what you would say about that.
Our system is operational and independent of anything else. It operates on its own.
Excellent. Self-correcting features are awesome.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So
that could never happen. That was the fail-safe to it, right?
But thank you, David. That's really beautiful. And then I know you said, Dennis, that we have to wait 6 months to transfer our 403Bs.
Only because they require we're live for 6 months before we can do that.
Yeah,
that's just part of having the license.
We hope the market doesn't crash. So is there some other place we can move it to, where it's safe? I know that it has to go from one.
Ambika, I have an insurance broker, and I will put him in touch with you, and he will show you how to take out your money at the least possible taxable event.
Perfect. I know no problem, but the others I can't.
We'll also be trying to come up with some solutions until that point as well, because really the way we're structured and the way we're put together, everything we do is 100% legal and structured legally. Correct. So we do have to live by their laws because they created them so we could use them as well.
Correct.
Right. So.
Yeah. So, I know I'm in great hands, so I have no worries anymore. It's all given up. So I want my new phone.
I love that. I know. I want mine too.
You, me, and everybody else.
I'm the owner. And I have mine. It's just being programmed right now. So
okay. All right. So will you send us a brochure that we can send to friends who are worthy of this?
Well, there's a few good emails that I can send to you. Okay.
Yes, there is. And we're putting that stuff together right now. It's kind of like I told one of our associates that's with us is that, look, the bad thing is we don't have exactly all the things we'd like to have right now, but you're right in the beginning of this whole thing occurring, which is going to be historic, and it's going to go down in history as one of the biggest things that have ever happened, and to create sovereignty for ourselves. And how it all started, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of aspects to this to put together, much less we want to get that app up and going as soon as possible. So that's kind of where our focus has been. So,
most of you missed out on the .com and the Bitcoin. Now you got the KOGI, okay?
Yep.
This is what's going to be the next big boom.
When they talk about the metaverse, that's what we are. We are the metaverse. We are the quantum system.
We've got to go beyond the metaverse. They're already failing.
No, the metaverse is going to be pretty incredible. They're just showing you little parts of it. At this point, it's way more. It's way over my head. I'm 56 years old, and I'm not old, but technology's way beyond me. My kids would understand more than I would.
Right.
But this is you know, I have a theory. I mean, and it's a theory, but I believe it's really close to what's happening. Quantum is a fifth dimensional thing.
Okay.
It's so fast and it's so quick. It's on a level that's way above where our understanding is about it.
Right.
But the quantum system is going to bring us into a fifth dimensional reality.
Exquisite.
So we always wondered how we transfer from a third to a fifth. And I believe this is going to be what it is. All these systems are going to integrate us into a more higher understanding of reality.
Okay. Let me get Karel?
Yes, hi.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, it's Karel. How's everybody? Thank you so much for all of your information. David, this is going to really, really be awesome. But I do have a question regarding getting clarity about the banks and how that works. So you have a Chase Bank account, you have a BOA account, that kind of thing. So let's say you have like $500,000 in Chase or something like that, right? So, and KOGI becomes the custodian of the money that's in the bank account, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So now how is it that, do we keep the bank accounts and use that under KOGI, or do we just transfer everything over to KOGI? You know, like how is that going to work?
Your whole bank account will be available on your cell phone.
No. But I'm saying, so do we keep it in Chase? Do we keep it in BOA? Do we take it out of there?
Yes.
Okay. And still
They
continue.
can't touch it. They can't touch it. We control it for you.
Yeah, the choice is up to you. If you want to move it all over into KOGI, that's what you can do. If you feel comfortable with being your bank right now because it's got a brick and mortar location, then you keep it there. So we want you to feel comfortable about anything you do with it, right?
Right. Okay.
And that's up to you. You'll see that KOGI is going to work in your advantage and that it's going to do what it's supposed to do. And at that point, you might feel more comfortable. Either way, it's about transitioning in the most comfortable way possible.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, so now let me get Joe. Joe, unmute. And,
yes.
Yeah.
My question is for David on the satellite phone.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a family plan? Because my sister has 6 people on her family plan. I know that's a lot. And if you don't, are you planning to, have something like that, or is that necessary? And the next question is, with the phone, would I be able to get rid of my internet and cable carrier and use the phone as my
The problem with that, Joe, is this: if you've got your phone and you're using your phone to get on all your computers and everything, devices at home, what happens when you leave home? You gotta have internet access at home. So we haven't addressed that yet, have we, David? Of having internet access for the home.
I believe not yet, but I think that solution is coming. There's a lot of things we can do. We can set up whole networks. We can set up a whole economy if we wanted to. We can take a place like the island in St. Thomas, which we're doing right now, and bring them into the 21st century. So that is what we must understand is what this system does. I want to hold on a sec. Sorry, guys, it's loud here. So what this system does everybody understand why a third world country is a third world country? It's a third world country because they don't have the ability to move into a digital world or into the world we're in, or they don't have access to it, or they don't have the ability and the technology to be there. We can come in and set all that up. We can create a world where they're virtual when they never were. and give access to people who never had access. We can bank the unbankable is really what where it really goes to. We can do things that everybody, all these big people, stop people from doing to make sure they were in control. Because control only works when you're above somebody and somebody has more than you have.
And at the same token, what he's talking about banking the unbankables, you got to be aware of the fact that we bet everybody pretty thoroughly. You can't be a drug dealer or, money launderer or whatever. We will catch you and we will turn you in.
Okay, so home internet service.
So let's see. For example, I'll say Thomas, right? Cash.
Somebody is breaking up, so it's either Joe or
off a
David.
Plane.
David,
I'm breaking up.
yeah, okay, you're back to normal.
Okay, so let's say, take example the island of. My gosh, people just don't know how to be quiet. So let's say on the island of St. Thomas, when you get off the plane, everything's cash. When you get off the boat, everything's cash. They don't have any real credit systems. They don't have anything that's organized that way. They don't have Uber. They don't have anything. And you ask them why? Well, we just haven't got there yet.
Every time you got in a taxi, it was $40.
Yeah, and it's all cash. Everybody's cash. Oh, no, cash only, right? Well, we can go on an island like that and set up a link with QR codes where they can pay on that. They can have an Uber system. We can create an Uber system off our system so that we can take places like that and bring them into the 21st century and give them access to things that other people have held back from them, right? Now that's important because that access brings them and brings their people on the island to a different level. Now they can compete in the world.
David, why don't you give them the example of Ahern?
Okay, so Ahern has got all this equipment. Now, this equipment just sits there all day looking at them. It's a bunch of metal.
Billions of dollars. You're breaking up
all
again.
that value to it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to get over to you're in the car, right?
Yeah, I'm in the car.
In the truck. Okay. You look good.
So, Dennis, go ahead and explain, please.
Okay. He's getting out of there. So let me explain. Okay, Ahern is one of the people that we're talking to, okay? But there are several other people like that. They have billions of dollars in equipment sitting on the ground. You take an auto dealer, he's got millions of dollars in automobiles sitting on the ground and nothing, he's got no income from that until something is sold. So the same thing for the equipment rentals. Until something is rented, they got no income. All that excess equity is sitting unused. Now, putting it into a deed of trust and putting it into our trust, we now become the custodian of all their equipment, and they can take the cash value of that and put it into our bots and let the bots go and do all the trading for them and make money for them on a daily basis until something is either sold or rented or whatever, and the bots instantly account for everything. Everything you do is accounted for on every time you do something, it's accounted for on our system. And once a month, if you want to, once a week, if you want to, you can push a button and pull out all your transactions that you have done, because we are going to keep minute by minute details on your banking transactions for you. Okay? And nobody else is going to get that information. We are doing it for you. And that is why I love this. Okay? Because I will know where every penny goes and what happens. You can take an auto dealer. He can have his own app. Ahern can have their own app. It'll be just like KOGI. What we do is we call it a white label product, okay? So we put your name on it. It's $150,000 to do that for you. Your own name, now you have your own banking app, just like KOGI, okay? Except it's your name. Now, you can, every time you have customers walk into your door, you can introduce them to your banking system, have them sign up with you for free, hook up all their bank accounts and show them how they can be free of the restraints of the regular banking system that's out there. Okay? These banks are absolutely, I mean, can you imagine? I got a letter from a bank, from one of my banks, asking why I write so many checks to the state of California. Can you imagine? I write checks to the state of California to register the associations. And they got it right at the bottom. It says, register this, you know. These are the fees. And these people are calling and sending me an email going, why do you write so many checks? I said, why don't you read the bottom of every check? You'll see that it's for registering documents with them. Okay? Now, when it comes to a fee to joining KOGI, there's no fee. It's just like if you was to join Venmo or Cash App or whatever. It's only if you want to have your own banking app that we charge that fee. Then we make the app just like KOGI for you so that you can bring everybody in and now you earn a piece of every transaction they do. Okay, so here's how it works. Let's just say the bank they're charging you 3% for use of credit card. We'll charge you 2 or 2.5, okay? Then we split that 62-38. KOGI gets 38, you get 62%. Now you start making money on all the transactions, not just when the people come and work with you, but whatever they do. So you want everybody that's walking around you to join your app. And what we're trying to get together, some people have asked if we're doing shares. Okay, what we want people to do is this, is to pool their resources. And if they can't pool their resources, we will pool it for them and pool to $150,000. And then we have an agreement that whoever, let's just say we had 10 people put $15,000 each. We got to $150,000. Now, each one gets 10% of the banking app, and we go out and spread that to as many people as we can everywhere in the world. You don't have to be in the United States. You can be in Bangladesh and have this and join the app, and you now have your own banking system running right through KOGI, running right with us, okay? And this is going to make you a lot of money because every time somebody uses their Cash App, they use their phone, and they do a credit card, that transaction fee is split 62-28. You get 62% of all the transactions. So it behooves you to tell everybody to join. Now, you need to know this, okay? We are going to go public. And when we go public, your banking app's going to shoot to the moon, okay? That's why we're asking you to pool your resources and get a banking app. All the people who have sent us a pre-qual statement right now, that means that what we're asking you is give us your name, your address, your particulars, okay? And then we will ask everybody to give us their information. It's a KYC, know your client. Once we know your client, how much funds you want to invest, we will put you in a group, get you an app, and now you're on the way to making big money. KOGI went from $1 million to $3.5 million from last month to this month. When we go public, we're going to be going way, way, way 10, 15, 100 times. Okay? Well, yeah, 5,000 or more is what we need. 5,000 is the minimum investment. So if you had 5,000, we're going to need 30 people to put up 5,000. Then you got $150,000 deal, and everybody gets 1/30th of that thing. So of the app that they buy. We got a lot of things right now. So let me get to the next question, okay? Eric, you've been waiting patiently. Go ahead and unmute, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. And I want to thank you for having the gentleman share his non-legal advice. I really appreciated his input, as well as David. I wanted to ask him because you guys have really hit on some areas that have touched my heart in terms of where I see this can go generationally. And I have two sons, and my oldest is really, really big. He's 32, and he's really, really big in crypto and the blockchain and metaverse. Huge. He has built a team that goes to different areas of the Carolinas, teaching people about cryptocurrency. And they've also created their own cryptocurrency, their own coins. And so I really want them to listen to you and to David and where this is going, because this is going to really, really be a major, major blessing to them in terms of where this can go generationally speaking. And so, David, I see you there. I appreciate.
Back on. So what this will be an ideal situation for him to have a white label product.
Well, okay? Not just that. You know what? We're actually looking for people like your son, right? We're looking for people to be on board with us that understand that reality, because we have it on steroids. And when they see what we have, they're going to be like, oh my God, how do I get involved? Mm-hmm. Because they know what it is. They're already part of that metaverse, right? They understand it better than any of us. Mm-hmm. And those are the type of people we need to create these NFTs and to create these what we call virtual real estate, mm-hmm. which is going to create a metaverse where people go there just to do everything. Mm-hmm. 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 Right now we're interviewing some of the top 5 hackers in the world. Why? Wow. Because they do what they do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we protect people's assets from the people who want to take them.
I would love to connect them with you guys, because his team is really, really big on that. In fact, they just had a magazine feature an article on them and their team. They're called Carolina Crypto Collab. And so anyway, but my other question is this: for me personally, as a pastor and as a bishop in South Carolina, I really want to be able to connect a lot of folks in this region. We're right outside of Charlotte. But the one thing I didn't get is, how do we connect our current banking system, i.e. TD Bank or Bank of America, to KOGI? How do we connect that? I saw Ambika, and I think she said she connected hers. I'm not familiar with that step.
She has not connected it yet.
Oh, okay.
She just opened an unincorporated nonprofit association bank account.
Gotcha.
But you're familiar with Venmo and Cash App and PayPal? What happens when you go there? You just go in, you sign up, and then you connect your bank account to that, right?
That's right.
With us, you do the same thing. You can connect 100 different banks to us. And now you can deal with all of them. But we are protecting your accounts.
Okay.
Double FDIC insured. Every bank account is double FDIC insured.
Okay.
And the bank can't tell you what to do.
Why we named this KOGI? Well, wasn't why. I knew this was going to be KOGI for a long time, but it was to protect the Christians and the people of faith in the world. It doesn't have to just be Christians. It's anybody of faith. Mm-hmm. Because who they're coming after is the people of faith. Mm-hmm. That's who they're coming after. They don't like those people. They have backing to them, right? They want drones. They want people who are going to do what they say. They don't want people who are going to look at them and say, hey, wait, that's against my rights. Mm-hmm. Right? Those are the people that are their targets, and Christians are those people.
That's right.
This is always good against faith. Bad, right. good against evil. Okay.
That's right. And this is why it's so important to me, though, David. And I totally agree. So important to me that my son and other millennials, with that type of a vision and passion, they need to hear this. They need to hear this. They need to hear this because this is his ministry. This is his calling. This is his passion.
Yes.
Pastor Eric, this is being recorded, And when we're done, we'll have Dennis clean it up a little bit, and then
we allow people not only to protect their assets, but to protect their legacies as well. And you said the words perfectly. This is to protect your legacy for your children to come, because what they're facing is way worse than what we're facing right now. But with foresight and with God's vision, we can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. You blessed me. I thank you.
Bless you too. Okay. Veronica, you're next. Veronica, unmute, please. Veronica, Alexander.
Hello?
There you are. You're available now.
Okay, basically, I know, but since the president is here today, I'm just trying to make sure. I see how if you have assets and how you are like a cash app or whatever, and all of that is underneath everything. But if you own a home and that bank has first lien, how is that going to work that I could actually use my equity through your company, through KOGI?
Well, if the bank has first lien, okay, you put it into an association. You have some equity in there. Let's just say you have a $400,000 home. The bank has $250,000 first lien. You have $150,000 in equity. You put it into the association. Then you do a deed of trust and put the association into KOGI. Now you have $150,000 in equity that you can use to.
Okay. Just use that. I know I'm sounding redundant, but I could just use that equity, even though the bank has first lien. What if it lost? How is KOGI going to get its money if the bank has first lien?
Somebody know?
Well, how we do that is we take control and we negotiate with that bank, right? We negotiate with that, right? It's not, we're still in the legitimacy of, we're all legally banked. We're banked, right? It's just like when one other bank comes and takes the assets of somebody from another bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
All those things are transferred. And yes, certain people take certain positions and are available to that, but to your equity, they're not. So they're not the custodians of your equity. They're the custodians of your house, right? Which means they have that in the home, but anything above the home value is equity. And that's for you.
Right. But you know how the bank acts, you have to do a refinance to pull that equity out.
I'm sorry, say that again. You broke up. I didn't hear that.
I'm sorry, but in retrospect to the bank, in order for you to get the equity out, you have to get an equity loan. So KOGI is not even a first lien person. So what is KOGI? Oh, her house value is this amount by an appraised value. So she can use this amount of money towards whatever she wants to use it towards, I guess, investing.
Sure. And then we become in second position if we give that money over, right? So
exactly. That's why I'm asking. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's just like any other financial institute that gave you a loan. We're the same thing. We're no different than a bank. We are a bank. So
right. So you'll be second. So really and truly, the first lien position person will always be ahead of you. That's why I'm asking.
Well, they will, but they also won't have the same system as we have to protect our assets as well. So they can try to do what they do all day long, but when our mother company is called Cannibal. It's called Cannibal for a reason, which means our system's so fast and quick that we can a lot of times take position that we need to protect not only your assets but our own. So
okay, well that kind of was a little fuzzy area for me to understand. Thank you.
And a lot of that's going to come down the way, which means right now Cannibal and KOGI as a company are sitting on over 22,000 Bitcoin, as well as 17,000 Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
So we have over a few $100 billion in assets backing. we're a bank.
Okay.
But we're mostly we're 30 different currencies around the world as a forex exchange, and we're 30 different currencies, and we're a full crypto wallet for any crypto available to the industry to convert. Our system protects your assets by even when it allows us to take position when if you do lend money, right? If we do lend money. But those positions. So let me tell you how good the security is. Say you were in a country where the currency collapsed. Our platform will know that's happening by the 12 apostle bots that we use. We have 12 bots that are all named after the apostles, and those bots see algorithms all day long. That's all they do is they just keep checking for all those things. So they know when one keystroke stroked in the next one that certain things are going to occur, right? Because they're that quick and it's that smart. So what it does is it notices when a collapse is occurring. And what it does is it takes all your assets, puts it into the highest safe haven that there is, whether that's a crypto or a currency. It taps out all your credit cards, taps out everything if it knows that thing's going to collapse. So it takes you 100% out of that collapse and secures your assets. The best protection you can have. You'll never be broke. Even if the economy collapses, yours is going to be in a place that's called a safe haven. Because believe me, the 1%ers have safe havens. They aren't going to collapse. They never did. Even in the last collapse, all those guys were fine. Okay. So, but the mortgage thing, we're going to have to get in a little more detail and do classes on how that works and how we take that.
Okay, that'll be good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's going to come down the way. And like I said, when we get our stuff together, we're bringing in a lot right now, and it's going to be amazing. But it's going to get more amazing month by month.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to get over to August. August, how are you? You can unmute and ask us your question, August. August, did you leave the room?
No, I'm still here. I was trying to get it off mute.
Okay.
But first, I want to thank you guys for all the hard work that you do to establish this, help us to reestablish our sovereignty.
Thank you.
That's basically what you're going to be doing. You're reestablishing your sovereignty.
I like how you put that.
Okay, I have two questions. My first question is, I was under the assumption as a business, my daughter has a situation where she has her own business and she was trying to buy a cargo van, and they informed her that she couldn't buy the van in her business name. So I don't quite understand that. I thought if you owned a business, if you wanted, you could buy all your equipment in the business name. So could someone enlighten me as to why that's possible?
Let me explain what happens, okay? Because even though I have associations, I cannot go get a loan in the name of the association. Even if you have a business, you got to have what they call a financial manager. The financial manager is the person who has the top credit, and he's the person. So you have to get it in the individual's name after you get the loan, because remember when I talked about the associations, I said you unless you specifically agree to a specific date in writing. Okay, so Veronica, you're breaking in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you please mute your phone?
Yes,
I'm trying to answer August. Okay, so August, yeah, you can establish a Dun and Bradstreet for your association, okay? And you will see that 9 times out of 10, the association already has a Dun and Bradstreet going for you. And start building your credit for the association. Now, Maria and I, when we open a bank account, we immediately apply for a credit card with them as well. They use our credit because now we sign on that we are responsible to make the payment. But who's making the payment? The association, not us. Okay, that's why we sign it. So we're basically borrowing the money from the association to make our payments. We don't have any income. That's a loan to us. Okay, and that does not show on your credit report because it's the association's credit, not yours. So she has to, if she wants to buy a car or whatever, she has to buy it under her own steam and then transfer it to the association.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. And what my next question is, we know with the banks it's all about leverage. Okay, that's number one. And it's been proven that the banks, some research was done, and it was proven that the banks make $33,333 off every 100 that's deposited in someone's account.
No. Let me explain that to you. Okay. If you want to know exactly what happens, you go to Google and Google up modern money mechanics. Modern money mechanics. It's from the Federal Reserve System, and go to page 11. It'll show you the expansion of money. The moment you deposit $10,000 into Bank A can now loan out 90%, but they must keep 10%. Okay? Now, what happens to that 90% that goes out? $9,000 goes out. Okay? That ends up in other banks. Those banks can now loan out 90%. Okay? And it goes so on and so on and so on until $100,000 total has been loaned out. Now, where did the money come from? Money does not come from them doing that. Money comes from your promise to pay. Every time you walk in the bank and make a promise to pay, then they can loan out the money. So let me ask a question of anybody over here who can answer this. A new bank just opened up today, and I walk in and I put in $1,000. How much cash is in the bank? $1,000, correct? Now, Bogus walks in tomorrow and puts in $1,000. How much money is in the bank? $2,000. Now, let's say Ambika walks in and she says, I want to borrow $1,000. Okay? Now, when she wants to borrow $1,000, the bank says, great, I'll loan you $1,000, sign this agreement. So she signs the agreement and the bank gives her $1,000. Now, who can answer how much money is left in the bank?
$100.
$1,000?
$100.
No. There's $3,000. There's $3,000 in the bank. Why? The $1,000 I put in, the $1,000 that Bogus put in, and the note that she signed, that's an asset to the bank of $1,000. She has a promise to pay that makes it an asset to the bank, so the bank has $3,000, didn't lose any money. That is how banking works. Okay? So when you walk in and ask for a loan from the bank, whose money do you think they loaned you? The bank's money or their customers' money? Banking law does not allow them to loan their own money or their customers' money. So whose money did they loan you? They loaned you your own money from your own Treasury Direct account. And I can prove it. Okay? But I'm not doing it here. Okay. So anyway, Bogus, that's what she needs to do. She needs to get the van in her own name and then put it into the bank.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Is that good for you?
Yes.
Okay, I need to get to Chandra. Chandra?
Sorry about that. I'm coming. Yes. Thanks, Dennis. My question is this, and it's really part of the comment that you were making to the pastor about the accounts being double FDIC.
Yes.
Can you explain that? Does that mean that you're going to have a limit as to the amount that a person can deposit or invest with the company?
No. You can deposit whatever you want, but we can only insure you for $500,000. Right now, if you go and put money into the bank, you only insured for $250,000.
250, unless you use the enterprise system.
Right.
Okay.
So we are insuring you for $500,000 because we don't have the expense of having a bricks and mortar bank.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Now, Bobby, you're next. Bobby Miller. Do you want to unmute, Bobby? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Hi, David. I'm sorry, Dennis. My question is, are you not allowing individuals to invest in the whole company?
Yes. The investment is, okay, the company itself cannot get any more investments. Okay. What we can do is we allow the people to aggregate $150,000 and get another app going. Okay. Now that app you will bring everybody you can into that, and we will help you to build that. When you build that, your money is going to quadruple. It's going to grow in leaps and bounds.
But I want to be a shareholder of the whole company. That's you guys are not allowing that.
So let me explain real quick. So to be into the whole company, we did the evaluation of that, and what we figured out was you got to understand what an app is actually going to be worth. An app can be worth upwards of $100 million. No joke. The last app in the United States that just sold was Robinhood, and it was a domestic wallet that did crypto and USDT only. US
but
dollars.
that would be forward looking though. That's not necessarily guaranteed.
I'm sorry. Go ahead again. Say that again.
That will be what your statement you're making is forward looking, meaning that it's possible or it's not possible.
Well, yeah, even KOGI is possible or not possible, but so.
I mean, there's been a lot of banks that have failed. Okay, what happened to those people's investments? There's been a lot of companies that have failed, and what happened to theirs?
Let me ask this question. Maybe is there a requirement? Because you're saying you're not allowing individuals that may qualify to invest in the whole company and not just a piece of the pie, which is the 150,000 group of people that they've come together. You're not allowing it, and if you are allowing it, what would be the requirements? Do I have to be a multimillionaire, or because I can't confirm or deny it, but I may be a millionaire already, that will qualify me to be an investor in the whole. So I would have more to actually invest to have a bigger piece of the pie,
David? Where's David? I can't answer that question. It's David.
And it's starting we're allowed to, by every rule and law that we're allowed to make 60 apps. Those apps are already being looked at by hedge fund companies, and they already have a value. So as that app builds and grows, which KOGI does put things in there, as well as even the groups could put things into that app and make it grow, even if it was to take an app and make it for Hyperverse, even if it was for that, right? And those people came to that app and moved into there, right? That builds that value of that app. And like I said, the last app that just sold from Robinhood sold for $80 million. And that was just a domestic cryptocurrency wallet. And that was just domestic. We're a Forex exchange. We exchange over 30 different currencies, and we exchange every crypto known to the industry. We set crypto. We make crypto. And we actually make the coins, which is way beyond what Robinhood did. And they just sold for $80 million. So that app is going to have, again, we've had hedge funds already make offers for the apps before they're even available because they just want them.
When they see our operation, they want it.
So with all due respect, the answer is no, then.
There's no investment in the company anymore. It's in the apps.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah.
Until it goes public, yeah.
And when we go public, then you can buy shares in that too. Then you'll be part of the company from that point of view.
But realistically, I honestly believe, and that's why I purchased the app of KOGI to begin with, is that the apps have the value. The app has the value. Of course it does. No matter what app we have or what app we build, it's going to have a huge amount of value.
Dennis? Yeah. We can have a Lankeshwar teleportation app.
A what app?
Lankeshwar teleportation.
Teleportation. We have to take you from here to there, huh?
Lanka. How did they travel to Lanka? Hanuman app.
What do you have? You have a horse on your lap in that picture?
Oh, yes, this horse was so beautiful. I was holding it.
Where's the remote up here, Chris?
But I had
in here.
Okay.
For the TV.
Okay. Anybody else that has any questions? I think we've come to the end of this. I don't know.
Arnolia again. I put a comment. Yeah, so I put a comment. I heard David speak about the hedge funds already interested in the apps.
Correct.
The hedge funds are part of these elitists who are the ones who want to control everything. So I'm not understanding, why do they get, I know it's not my company, I know it's your company, but why are they getting first dibs at something that is supposed to be for the people? You know,
They're not getting first dibs, right, David? They just start putting bids in to buy our apps
So here's the great thing, and it's a great question. And the answer is that even when they buy it, we retain a certain amount of it so that we can still control certain things. Just because they buy it doesn't mean they buy the whole and retain the whole thing. That's up to us whether that happens or not. So again, it creates a world where we start bringing back control back to the right people. They have to follow certain rules and they have to follow by certain regulations.
Okay. So do you all know when there'll be a meeting where it'll be discussed as far as how much it's going to cost to purchase one of those apps?
A white label app right now, a basic white label app that does a company and does your company is $150,000. We are.
Okay.
That's a white label app. To do your own individual app could run upwards of $3 million.
Okay.
Yeah, because we are already valued at $3.5 million. Yeah.
So what is the most likely chance that I know what the intent is right now as far as the organization, but what is the most likely chance in the future that you will sell the company to the elite?
That I'll sell the company? I'll always retain a part of ownership in the company. Even if the company sells, I'll retain enough ownership that I have some decision making. You got to remember, this stuff runs off of software, right? Which is controlled ultimately by KOGI or Cannibal.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Pam, you have a question, Pam?
Yes, thank you for taking mine. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Really well.
Hi, Dennis. Thank you. It's a great presentation. Thank you, David and Larry. My question is, can you reiterate how we will go about registering for the app?
Right now, you need to go to kogi.cash, KOGI.cash. Okay, go to KOGI.cash, go all the way down to the bottom and put your name, your email, and your phone number, and we will let you know as soon as you can register.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. What time is 7? Okay.
Yeah, we are getting up there, so we need to close this down. Okay, I think we have answered many questions for everybody. Simon, you have another quick question?
Yes, Dennis, thank you to getting back to me. My question actually is more of the association part. A really quick question.
Okay.
You mentioned that there is no trustee. I became for example, the person became the owner and making all the decisions. As far as insurance wise, if something happened to that person, where is all the assets goes?
David?
Yes.
He is asking a question about the trustee of our trust.
Well, we have a Euro trust, a Swiss trust. We have a trust out of Montana.
Canadian trust, a trust in St. Thomas, and we're going to open one in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, so our trusts are all over, and the reason we do this is so we can take advantage of certain, in different areas, there's certain advantages. The trust is a license of a platform that we have to purchase and we have to get. So
okay.
I don't know if that helped, but my architect could probably explain it better than me.
No, I was actually, the question was towards Dennis. We started a conversation earlier about association and the nonprofit. And the question was more about for Dennis.
Okay,
but maybe I'll just
if
answer.
You're talking about the nonprofit, give me a call later. We'll talk.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you so much for a great meeting, guys. A lot of questions were answered through different people. Thank you so much. Heads up. I'm glad that I'm some of the people on board in early stage.
Thank you.
Thank you, all of you as well.
David, please check your message, direct message in chat.
Okay.
Thank you.
So is it safe to say where your assets go is depending on what type of protections and whatnot benefits you want as a result of having your trust?
Yes, because we're going to make it work to your situation, because all situations are different, right? Some people are going to come in with 100 million. Some people are going to come in with 20,000, right? So, and some people are going to put a lot more in than other people put in. So we have to be in certain different types of trusts for that kind of assets, those kinds of assets.
Yeah, I appreciate it and thank y'all for thinking on that level.
Okay, everybody, why don't we call it a night? We've already been on here for a couple of hours now. And yeah, in fact, we're going on 2 hours, 15 minutes. So let's call it a night, and let's see everybody back here next week. So I'm going to stop the recording right now.
Thanks, guys. God bless.
Yes.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, man. God bless.
God bless everybody.
Thank you.
Good night and enjoy your weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Dennis, again, thank you for what you do. And Cynthia, thank you very much for everything you do to make this successful. Okay?
Thank you.
Dennis
Right.
also,
Dennis will clean it up and
bill.
make it available. Okay? Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night. God bless.
Thank you. Aloha. Bye-bye.
Nadine, nice talk. Nice seeing you on here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Margaret, Meg, hi, buddy.
Thank you.
Tsunami
Bye-bye.
Kid, everybody. Okay, too many to say good night to everybody. I just say good night, John Boy. We'll talk to you. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to end the meeting for all.